Eleanor Boardman was one of the most talented stars of the silent screen in the 1920s, but in 1931, she walked away from Hollywood after a successful transition to the talkies. Why? Join me as I investigate. Eleanor was born in 1898 in Philadelphia. In college, Eleanor studied interior design and moved to New York afterward. She soon found work as a model and became known as the Eastman Kodak Girl, appearing in a number of their ads. How did she go from designer and model to actress? Well, one source states that she entered and won Goldwyn Pictures' New Faces contest with William Haynes in 1922. Eleanor herself, in an interview with historian Michael G. Anchorage, stated that she was summoned to a Goldwyn scout's office thinking that he wanted to use her interior designs. Instead, he offered her a screen test. Either way, she and William Haynes ended up in Hollywood at Goldwyn Pictures in 1922 and remained lifelong friends. After 3 supporting roles, Eleanor was launched into stardom in 1923's Souls for Sale, a brilliant satire in which she played the astutely named rising star Remember Stedden, who, on accident, finds herself thrust into movie stardom at a major studio. Not only did Remember's story uncannily match Eleanor's origins in motion pictures, the character's successes foreshadowed Eleanor's that occurred after the film's successful release. She went on to be one of the biggest stars at Goldwyn and at MGM after Goldwyn merged with Metro in 1924. Eleanor proved herself equally adept at comedy and drama, but in both genres she was usually the lovely, high-class ingenue. In 1924, she starred in the comedy Wine of Youth with William Haynes and Ben Lyon as a girl caught between two loves. A year later, she starred in the comedy The Circle, which had a similar story in which Eleanor played a rich girl torn between her stuffy fiancé and the lower-class man that she truly loves. In 1926, Eleanor starred in 2 very different but 2 equally successful smash hit films. First, she appeared opposite friend John Gilbert in the costume epic Bartley's the Magnificent. Second, she starred with William Haynes and Lon Chaney in the modern comedy drama Tell It to the Marines, getting to demonstrate the full range of her emotional talent. In 1926, Eleanor also married director King Vidor and took 2 years off from making movies, during which she gave birth to her eldest daughter. In 1928, Vidor convinced Eleanor to return to the screen to appear in her most famous and critically acclaimed role, that of Mary in the realistic, socially conscious drama The Crowd, a simple story of a man and a woman that struggle to stay afloat in their constant battle with all that poverty has to throw at them. Subsequent film historians have cited this film as one of the best silent films, if not one of the best films of all time. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. In 1929, Eleanor appeared in the partial talkie She Goes to War, but as far as I can tell, she did not have any dialogue. Alma Rubens had most of the dialogue in that film. However, Eleanor still gave a very memorable performance even without speaking. In 1930, she made her first full-length talkie debut in Mamba at Tiffany Pictures, a Poverty Row studio that spent all of its money in filming the movie fully in Technicolor, making it one of the first color films. Co-starring Jean Hersholt and Ralph Forbes, the film was a hit. That same year, she also appeared in Redemption with John Gilbert, which was not a hit, and for more information about that film, please see my videos on John Gilbert. She then gave a powerful performance in the Western drama The Great Meadow in 1931. After making a few more films that same year, Eleanor left Hollywood for good in 1931. She made a brief appearance in the 1935 film The Three-Cornered Hat in 1935 as a favor to her second husband, the director Harry Diorah. Eleanor lived the rest of her life in quiet retirement. After divorcing Diorah, she moved back to Los Angeles and lived on the estate of her good friend Marion Davies for several years before moving to Montecito near Santa Barbara, California in 1968. In 1980, Eleanor began to accept interview requests when silent films were being rediscovered and reevaluated. She appeared in the brilliant 1980 Thames television documentary Hollywood and supplied several wonderful anecdotes about her time at MGM and the famous friends that she had like Greta Garbo and John Gilbert. She was also interviewed by film historian Michael G. Anchorage in 1988 for his wonderful book Broken Silence, Conversations with 23 Silent Film Stars. Eleanor passed away in 1991 at the age of 93. So, we are left with the question, why did Eleanor walk away from a successful career in the talkies? Luckily, we have the answer to that question from Eleanor herself. As she told Anchorage in 1988, "I just had enough of it. I wanted to get out of Hollywood." Eleanor bravely left her stressful career behind and never really looked back. Fortunately, several of her films have survived. Be sure to check out Souls for Sale, The Circle, The Crowd, and Mamba, all of which are available on YouTube and all of which demonstrate the enormous talent that Eleanor possessed. Please like this video and subscribe or follow this account if you want to learn more about the history of silent film stars whose stardom lasted only briefly in the talkies. Up next, join me as I cover the silent to talkie career of Edmund Burns. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week.